All right, welcome. Yay.
Yay!
All right.
So far, all the technical things have worked. Okay.
All right. And then so Randy, you'll be admitting people all through this this meeting,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I will try to keep track of the chat and answer questions on there.
So if you see us looking both ways, we have two screens right next to each other. That's why if I'm looking off into the distance, it's not because I've got some issues going on.
And we'll have a brief questioning at the end, but if you have questions along the way, you can do them in the chat.
All right, so welcome to the new Reverbia meeting. It's wonderful that you have selected our camp of all camps to join. We are a good camp to choose if you're new, or even if you're an old burner and you are looking for a different camp. I like to think that we're a perfect camp for you. My name is Doug. I'm the camp director. We started Reverbia in 2010. That's when Reverbia used to be, it was a village. It has a long history. It started in like 1994 as an Oregon Country Fair camp, and it kind of morphed. A gentleman, Cliff Cox, who still camps with us, is like the original kind of starter of the past of our camp. And then I joined him in 2005. And as a music agent, they asked me to book and do, this village asked me to do the programming for the afternoons. So that's how I got involved. And then I started pushing it to do more night things, because that camp was always on the Esplanade and they were always dark at night. And it was interesting because to find your camp, you just looked for the dark spot on the horizon and you knew that's where this camp was. And so I wanted to change that. I'm like, we should not be on the frontage and dark. We should be on the frontage and have something going on at night. So I pushed for it, and then I had some pushback, and then that camp went down for a year, and then I was asked to come back and to be the leader of a camp, and I said, I'll do it if it's an all live music camp. That was my push when I was at Burning Man. In the beginning, I was always bringing live music, and I just saw that as a need at Burning Man. I said, there's not enough, it's mostly all EDM, and I like EDM, but I also wanted live music to be an emphasis. Because I hear a lot of people who say, I don't like Burning Man because there's no live music. And so I said, well, now there is. So that's how Reverbia got started. And that became our emphasis and our theme. And it's kind of our shtick. Like every bit of our programming always has to have live music involved.
So the dance class.
Dance classes, etc. It's all live music centric. We have to add that element. We've kind of done that as kind of a trivial thing now at this point, I think. Okay, so it's interesting because we have in this camp this year, the way the Burning Man's been shifting and changing, we have half of our camp is new Reverbians, and 1/3 are virgins, which are called Burning Man virgins. They call them virgins if you don't know that already. And so we are a very large theme camp. Last year, Reverbia was the largest theme camp at Burning Man. There are villages that are bigger than we are, but they're a collective of all kinds of theme camps to get together. We, as a centralized theme camp, are the largest. We were the largest last year. We've always been in like the top 5. And then last year, Entheos was always bigger than us. They took a step back in their population and we became the largest camp last year. One of the—
I can't hear you speaking.
Oh, can you hear me speaking?
Yes,
okay.
I can now. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, good. So, so we have been, since Reverbia started in 2010, we were a very small camp and we grew exponentially. We had a group from Canada come down that didn't get placed. I was up in Canada and I met this group and I said, you should come and camp with us at Reverbia. And that brought our first kind of international contingency that came to our camp. About 20 Canadians came down from Vancouver, and then quickly we morphed. And now our camp is probably more Canadians than anybody else in our camp of the demographics. The Canadians were great. That's my wife. I met my wife in 2012. She was a ride share with me, and we connected, and we now are married. So you can meet people if you're single at Reverbia, and we've had many people meet. Okay. All right.
Hear us?
Can you hear us again? All right, good.
I'm unmuted.
So we have so anyways, we are a live music camp. This year we're going to be doing in a very diverse camp. I think our diversity is probably it's extreme. We are diverse in so many ways, ethnically, internationally, preference wise. We are economically diverse. We are politically diverse. We have a lot of diversity.
Sexually diverse.
Yes, every way we are diverse. And so one of the things that we try to do with our camp is we try to keep the politics at home, because we're so different. We want to find that common central connection, which is live music, Burning Man, and enjoying the festival together. And so we want people in our camp to get to know each other for who they are, humanity. Okay. So we want to give people that chance, and then you can just earn the right to be heard with people around you. And then we're there to enjoy a festival together. That's our main thing. We like to preach ourselves as a no drama camp. We really, really push to not be like, we're very welcoming. You'll find we're not a cliquey camp. We try.
You two just muted yourselves, but could everyone else please mute themselves? There's some chats requesting that, but now we can't hear you, Reverbia folks. You're muted.
Okay.
Wait. Okay, we are not muting ourselves. The ghost in the machine is muting us.
Something is muting us.
But there's a lot of background noise, so everyone please mute.
That was me. I was going down through muting everybody, and I muted you. Sorry.
Oh, you muted everybody.
Stop muting us already.
Okay, well, Randy muted everybody. We were in that. Okay.
All right, so let me just finish this. So what my emphasis is we're a very welcoming, very respectful camp. I think you'll find as a new person, some camps are not always ideally they. Randy, we got muted again.
That's okay. He's just trying to mute everybody.
Randy, we keep getting muted. Okay.
We are not snarky like other burner camps.
Okay, so I'm trying to get my focus down. Yeah. So when you come to Reverbia, I went to the theme 5 years ago. I went to the theme camp symposium, and I learned very quickly that a lot of camps are not so welcoming of new people. Many camps don't like new people. And I told them right away, I said, well, we love new people at Reverbia. And I emphasized that, and they said, well, why? Why? Because they can be trouble. They don't know anything. And I go, well, that's the cool thing is we get to teach them. And so our leadership, I seek leadership in our camp to be everyone that you see in our lead position, I hope. They're mentoring. They know they're going to mentor and be approachable. They're not going to just say, hey, asshole. They're not like that. Our leadership's not like that. And I seek out people like that. So we know that you're new. We want to culturalize you to the best of our ability. If we see something that is out of whack, we will let you know. And hopefully if you're a veteran and you've been to our camp or you're a veteran burner, you'll know things that you can also share, especially with newbies. Because a lot of times when you're new, there's a whole culture at Burning Man. And if you don't really understand every aspect of it yet, some people will let you know in a very snarky way that you're out of line. We want to hopefully do that within our camp with more of a respect and a love for you. And so that's kind of the leadership that we seek. And that's why we're, I think, a really good camp for new people, because we welcome you. What we'll have is we'll have a lot of our veterans, many of our veterans will come early for Build Week. And they'll set the whole camp up. They work the whole week and spend about 80 hours doing that. And then they're excited when the new energy, when everyone comes in on the day of the opening, it's great because it's like all the new campers come. I was a camp counselor for years and years and the camp director for summer camps. So my model is like, I always feel like it's almost like an adult camp for me. Everyone that's coming is like, you're coming to your summer camp, but our theme is like this great, huge, giant, vast theme, a city that we explore in and experience together, and all the art. So I kind of have a little bit of that model still within our camp, that we're kind of like a summer camp and you're like the campers that are coming in, etc. So that's my own little thing. All right, just a brief culture of our camp. Hopefully everyone's already read things. We are a quiet hours camp at night because we have so much programming going on that we ask people to keep it quiet in their spaces where you're camping at. We don't really party in our camping spots, really. We go to our public spaces if we have to, be loud, because people around us are always trying to sleep. We have a lot of artists that are out late playing, etc. So we just try to be respectful in our camping areas. And then our camp has always been a responsible partying camp. We're not a messy camp. There's not really a place to come back to our camp, just hammered and passing out and pissing on the side of our closet wall.
Sloppy.
That's just not our camp. Our camp, a lot of people find our camp because we're
sloppy.
We're not so sloppy.
We have kids.
We ask in the volunteering that you're sober at all your shifts, and that you prep the night before. If you're getting up in the morning, that you're not coming with a massive hangover to do your volunteer service. We ask you to plan that out during the week on when you're going to hit it hard or whatever you do, etc. A lot of our leadership is a sober leadership, but we also have a lot of people who like to still do some things and have some enjoyment the way they do. So we just ask people to be responsible with that. And then we also are a no smoking or vaping camp. So if you do that, there are places you can just step off Playa. We're on the Esplanade, so the Playa is right next to us. So you can go there, and there's also a lot of lounges around, places that do that. We are on the Esplanade, which is absolutely fantastic. We've always been on the Esplanade. Anyone that's an old burner here, how many of you have ever been on the Esplanade before? Camped on the Esplanade? Have any of you? One of the unique things about Reverbia being on the Esplanade is that because we are a live music camp and because we've established kind of a history with the Burning Man Board, the BMORG, the organization, they tend to, they have in the past protected our camp. We're going to be at 815 in Esplanade this year. We started on that side of the city, and when they were starting a live music sector in the 3 o'clock area, they asked Reverbia to come over there. And so they said, if you come over here, we will take care of you. You'll love being a part of our sector, because we want to do a live music sector, and you are the premier live music camp at Burning Man. So we've been at 3 o'clock for years, and then they established this new policy, placement did, that said that you can only be in one location for 3 years in a row, and then you have to move that sector. So that's why we've moved, and we're back at 815. At 3 o'clock, all the camps around us were quiet. They did not put DJ camps around us at all, because in the daytime we do a lot of acoustic music, and if it's loud thumping noise, you can't hear the music. So they protected us greatly at 3 o'clock. It was a wonderful location for us. At 815, it's a live hub. On that side of the city where we're going to be camping, it's lively. Probably double the walk-up numbers are going to come to our camp. It's a different scene over there, and we've been there before. We love the energy that's there. We're just hoping that they're also going to protect our camp from DJ camps. They're going to be louder than our camp. And I think already all of our neighbors surrounding us they're not going to be DJ camps. So one of the cool things is you get to be on Esplanade, and it's going to be a little quieter than most Esplanade camps because of that. We stop our programming, our main stage ends at around 1:30 or 2 at night. So after that, we go into more quieter sections. We have a tea house that happens, and we have another kind of cosmic area that we're going to do like lighter music. So it's really, for being on the Esplanade, we're a pretty good camp to be in. Okay, we are going to move forward and talk about registration. If you've been doing registration, you've been meeting my wife, Wendy. She does registration at this. She's done it for several years now, and we're very grateful because it's a lot of work. And we want you all to know, by the way, all of our leadership we are all true heart burners. None of us are getting paid. We're all volunteers, all of us. So we all source our own tickets. We all are part of that process. So here's Wendy. She's going to talk about what's necessary for registration.
Well, I mean, you've all registered. That's why you're even on this call. But the key thing about registration right now, this week, right now, is that if you have not paid your invoice, you will not be invited to sign up for the volunteer sheets. And the volunteer sheets are going out today after this meeting. Jason's going to talk about it later, but they're going out today, and you want to be on that email list because then you get the best shifts. So just pay your invoices. I mean, that's all I really have to say about registration. We'll do more Q&A stuff later, but that's that. And also we'll explain a lot when we talk about placement, how that pertains to your registration too. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for everyone who paid on time and paid promptly. It's the worst thing in the world to chase down invoices. It just sucks.
Our cost, okay. Our prices, by the way, it's unbelievable. Like, if you've been in other theme camps, you know that we are a major discount camp. It may not seem that way if you've never been with a theme camp, but I always am calling, comparing, and contrasting. Part of our budget is determined by numbers. That's how we keep it down lower. But I was just talking to someone, one of our artists was talking about another camp that was inviting them to come camp with them. It was $800 just for basic camping. And it was, and that, I don't know, he was going to come in for $500 and it didn't include meals. And he said it was regularly was $800 with meals. Burning Man, Reverbia has a very good price tier. We do almost clear cost sharing across the board. We do raise a budget to fund our sound system and other things that we get, which one of the advantages you have of having Doug as your camp director is I'm quite a negotiator, and I try to make it so that we can keep our artist camp at a price that many people can afford. We're not a camp that has that has a tier that pays for everything, because we don't always push that privilege. We like to keep it, everybody's kind of coming in equal. We're all contributing, we're all volunteering, and we're creating the space. Okay, so let's move on to placement. Mariana is camping right now, so Wendy wants to talk about the placement on arrival, because that's very key when you come to Reverbia, how to get there, etc.
Someone just asked quickly about if they get a confirmation email from us when they paid, and we don't do that. We did that in the beginning, but we stopped doing it. So just trust that we get your payment, because I check PayPal like every 2 hours. And I'm updating the list as much as I can so that everyone gets on that volunteer email out. Okay, so placement. Placement, arriving, you cannot drive on Esplanade, so which is like the front street. So when you arrive, come to A Street. Our property, Burning Man has this is Esplanade, and then there's A Street is the next street down. We run the whole length of that block. Not all camps do. Some camps are only like halfway down the block. We run the whole length of the block. So we have two frontages. We have Esplanade and A Street.
We're on 300 by 400 foot property, almost 3 acres.
And a side note, we're only big, not because we want to be big and because bigger is better. We're big because we have so much programming that is awesome that we need people to run we need volunteers to make it happen. It's not that I think being bigger is better. In fact, smaller is probably nicer. It's just that we have so much production to give that we want to share, and we just need the bodies to make it happen. Anyway,
plus a lot of people want to camp with us, and it gets to a point where it's hard to say no.
But we still don't have more people than we need. Okay, so placement, you're going to arrive to A Street. The critical thing about arriving.
Hold on. When you come into the burn, you're going to go to 8 o'clock. You want to drive towards 8 o'clock. You want to come down 8 o'clock and find A Street. If you've never been to Burning Man, all the streets they set it up like a clock. So
that's going to be
no, hold on. So they have the alphabet streets are from A to L, and then as it goes is the clock. They have a clock. It's like shaped like a clock. Everything's like 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It goes down the line. We're at 8 o'clock, And then the streets that go, what would be outward from the center of the city, they're all alphabet streets. So we're at A, which is closest to where the Burning Man is, and the whole playa, they call the playa. That's where we're at. We're on the main drag. There's like 1,400 theme camps, and only 50 are on the Esplanade. So that's where we're at, on between A and Esplanade. You're not allowed to drive on Esplanade. So when you come up 8 o'clock, you want to turn towards 8:30 because we're at 8:15 and Esplanade.
Okay, someone just posted the map on the chat so they can.
Okay, good.
You
so
can
you can
describe it with words.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
All right.
So you arrive to come to our camp on the A Street side. Don't come on the Esplanade side. Come to the A Street. On A Street, you will see, we'll have a sign that says Reverbia. It's very confusing when you arrive at Burning Man. Everyone knows, even if you've been 20 times. It's all very confusing, but we'll have our sign, and then you will see the only building that we will have built on A Street will be our tea house embassy. And inside that structure, it's a giant, like monkey hut, cool structure thing. It's big and gray. You will see there'll be a table, a kiosk, and that's where you will find the placement team. And they are chosen for that team because they are patient and welcoming and nice people that are welcoming you from your long, arduous journey that has probably been hell, because it always is getting to Burning Man. So that being said, please respect placement team. Please listen when they tell you where to go. They give you choices. If you have a tent, you have choices, but you have to get permission where you're going to go from them. And if they ask you to move 6 inches over, please respect their requests and do what they say.
We have to squeeze a lot of people in.
So once you get to the kiosk, they're going to check that you paid. If you have not paid, because maybe you signed up, well, none of you have signed up late, but if you haven't paid for whatever reason, nothing happens until you pay. We've learned our lesson too many times. So you need to pay. You need to bring cat, whatever you got to do. Now, if you're in an RV, or if you're in a van, or if you're in a shift pod, a large shift pod,
or a large structure,
or a large structure, or a special structure, like you have your own shade structure that you've pre-planned out and discussed with us, and you have power hookups, you will have a pre-assigned place on the map. I mean, you should see our map. It's like the schematic of the most complicated thing you've ever seen. And they will have that there, and they will find you on the map, and they will show you where to go. So that's how that works. Then once you get your spot, if you're in a tent and you have your choice of where you want to go, there's all these shade areas.
We have 7 Quonsets, and we have the Reverbia We've got a lot of. And they're all geared to different types of people. Like there's one area that's super quiet that we reserve for people who really, like, no babies are allowed in there. Like it's for people who really need to be chill, who can't be overstimulated. Then we have other ones that are like more vibrant areas where lots of, like if there's 2 people who all, like 3 tents that want to be next to each other, they might go there because it's more like a vibrant, lively area. So we really try to accommodate. We have 2 shade areas that are strictly for all the bands and musicians coming in, and those are not, no one else can camp there except for bands because they're coming in and out. We have a lot of rotational bands, and we just can't have anyone clogging up that space. So you might see a Quonset that's like empty, and you're like, well, can I go in that one? No, that's for bands. They just haven't arrived yet. One thing I want to say too is that there's a lot of, we have a lot of shade. It is a first come, first serve. That's how we do it. We have a lot of shade. If you're really worried about not having shade, come early. That's the best. But everybody in the last several years has got shade. And you might be on the edge. And if you want more, if you want to have just a little more freedom, like with chairs and things like that, then bring your own shade and camp outside of the shade structures, because the shade structures are tight. We have to tight them in because we can only fit so many tents in them. So we're tight. If you want a little more flexibility, then you could bring your own shade and camp under it, and then you could have chairs probably in front of it and a little more open space for yourselves. Yeah, okay. But our shade is really, it's really thick material, so it's very cool, a lot cooler than just, it's not just aluminate. I mean, well, some of it is, but the main Quonsets are really nice and thick. The Reverbia are aluminate,
So just let me finish. So then you're going to walk. If you're in a tent, you're going to be shown a few options of where you can go. You can choose where you want. Your placer is going to go back to the tea house and wait for the next person. And you're going to open your tent up and adjust it to where you want. Then before you tack down, you're going to go back and get a placement person, and they're going to okay you that what you've done is correct, because they might tell you at that point, that's where the 6 inches comes in. They might say, you got to move over like 4 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches. Like, it's so tight. We want to try to maximize this space. So please respect them when they ask you to do something that seems really trivial, but it makes a big difference. Or they might tell you to rotate your tent so that it's more space efficient, whatever. Then you're going to tack down. Then you're going to come back to the kiosk in the tea house, and they're going to check that you have signed up for your shifts. They're going to have a roster there, a list of all the shifts, and Jason or somebody from the volunteer team will probably be there checking. And if you haven't got enough shifts, they're going to put you on the spot and right there and give you one, or you're just going to confirm what you have and make sure you know when your next shift is. If that's the point where you can, if you have a problem with the shifts because you realize you have a discrepancy when you have another obligation or something, you can talk to Jason about who you can switch with or whatever. You will read and sign, this is very important, an L&T promise, kind of like just like an acknowledgement that you are committed to your dying breath to being as L&T as you can within We're Burning Man in our camp, and how that's going to happen, because we really, really care a lot about L&T at our camp. And I mean, that's just the way it is. And so we're really trying to underline that with that process when you come in. And then the last thing will happen is that you receive your package, which Randy makes these amazing like welcome packages for everybody. It will have if you're in a tent, you'll have a tent tag. So they'll write your number on there. And so and then we'll record where you are at camp. So if anyone has to find you later on, we can find your tent because you're number 37 and you're in the zip closet or whatever. In the package, you will also get a fob. You'll get a cool sticker as well, but you'll also get a fob. And I guess this is where we could get Zip to explain the fob.
Yes, I want to say one thing before we move on to fobs.
Okay.
About when you arrive, we want to say something. Our placement is only open from midnight until 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
So the thing is
No.
It's open from midnight till 8 in the morning. Oh, it's not open. It's closed.
Closed.
It's closed from midnight till 8 in the
So if
morning.
you arrive after midnight, you cannot be placed. You cannot arrive at our camp. If you arrive at our camp after midnight, you need to sleep in your car somewhere else.
We ask people to not come to our camp after midnight. Yeah. If you're on a burner bus, that's different. You can come to our camp. But if you're not, or if you're a drop off, someone's dropped you off, and that's another story. But we ask you, if you come in after midnight, like with an RV or anything, just pull off and camp on it. There's places you can just pull and camp the night, sleep it out, and come at 8 in the morning, because what has happened in the past is when people come in late, that means we have people that have to stay up and wait. It's a lot of process for one here and one there. And then some people will come in while people are asleep and they just plop down, or they'll try to set themselves up on their own and it's not the right place, or they don't put it in, they just aren't, we can't catch them. So we ask that you just show up at 8 in the morning, or you get there before midnight. That's our camp placement. Okay, go ahead, Wendy. Oh.
Sorry, I haven't been able to answer questions on chat. I hope someone's
all right.
Okay, yeah.
So
you're going to get your package, and in your package you'll have your fob. I just want to say one thing about fobs. The fobs are allow you to get shower water and to get food. This is not because we want to police everybody and it's like a mafia state. This is more about data collecting so that we can optimize our systems, and we get information, which is power, right? Knowledge is power. So if we notice that like we've been able to gather information from past years, and we know when like are the busy times for eating and when aren't. We know how much % of our camp eats breakfast or doesn't. Okay. And also it does monitor if you have like 10 showers a day, we're going to catch you. That is the one section that we do police.
All right, so there is some policing.
It's more about the engineers just expressing their fun systems that they've invented.
All right, let's go. So let's move on.
So,
We're going to move on to DPW right now. Bob's going to discuss this.
Where's Bob?
Bob's here.
Okay, so let's
Bob, are you?
Bob.
Bob's here. This is Bob the Cosmo. He's a long-term veteran Reverbian.
Oh, here he is. Latitude, attitude.
He is. He's taking the year off, but he hasn't taken the year off. He's still a mentor. He's still one of our leads. That, whether he's there or not.
We make him work.
So
even
Bob
when he's not coming.
Bob has been in charge of DPW for a long time, and he still kind of is. We kind of didn't even put a new DPW person in this year.
Sorry,
So
Bob.
this is Bob.
Hi,
Bob
guys.
will explain some things about DPW and what
Hey.
DPW is.
Yeah. Obviously DPW is water and power primarily. There are other things that are involved as well. We're not going to get too much into power right now because that's all been explained in writing for the most part. But the water system is changing a little bit this year, and we need you guys to really work with us and be understanding that we're trying a new system. We've got a lot of experience at this, but we are trying some new stuff. The Bobs have given us the ability to regulate our water without using buckets. So there's no bucket filling anymore. You just step into the shower and swipe your fob. You're allowed basically 10 plus or minus 2 fob swipes per day. So please don't use more than 10 unless you've got long hair, then maybe you'll get away with 12 or 13. But if you use more swipes than that, we will notice. We're going to be looking a little bit at the data and just seeing what's going on. So somebody might come and ask you to sort of explain. You do not want to lend your fob to somebody else. If you're taking more than 1 shower a day, you may also be asked to explain. It's definitely something that will stand out in the software. So, but the showers are going to be very simple. That stress you kind of feel like when you're driving to the burn and you're like, did I bring my ticket? Did I bring my ticket? And then as soon as you get your ticket scanned and you're in the burn, all of that stress leaves your shoulders. Well, there's a little bit of that stress that comes back, and that is where's my fob? Where's my fob? You cannot lose your fob. It's really bad to have your fob replaced. It's a very difficult process. And so please do not lose your fob. Do not change fobs with somebody else. And just really respect your fob and try to keep track of it a little bit. It's a really important part of the burn and a part of being part of the camp. So low soap, we're trying to use as little soap as possible. We've got these foaming soap dispensers and they work really well, but the less soap that you use, the less water you use rinsing it off. And it's really good, like Dr. Bronner's. It's a really good soap that works well for our evaporation systems and so forth. So try to use our soap if you can. If you've got long hair, just use as little soap as possible, and therefore use as little water as possible. There's going to be possibly changes to our filling station this year as well, since we're not filling buckets. We may not use the filling pyramid like we've had in the past. I'm experimenting with these coil cord hang down fillers that have a little valve on the end of them. So you walk up to this thing, you grab it, you squeeze it. The important thing to understand about the filling station is that there's no sink. By design, we want any spilled water to go on the ground and to make mud. It's a way of preventing people from spilling water. So try not to make mud. Be very careful. Just take your time. Make sure the hose is drained before you pull it away from your water bottle, and try not to spill very much water on the ground. We will move the filling station if it gets muddy, but we try not to do that very much. Do not put anything underneath the filling station. No pots, no buckets, none of that to catch water, because we don't want anybody trying to wash or rinse anything in the filling stations. And that's pretty much it. The filling station, the fob for shower, the fob for food. It's very necessary for food as well. You're not allowed to borrow somebody else's fob. Don't fob twice for somebody else's food. Everybody has to have a fob. There's likely to be somebody there at meals managing this. And if you don't have your fob, just tell the person to save your space. You're not going to lose your space in line, but you have to go and get your fob and come back. And then the very last thing I have to say is Do not modify anything. Don't try to make something better. Don't try to make the water flow a little bit faster, you know. And if you see somebody who's doing something wrong, just help them to understand, help others, train others if you've done this in the past a little bit. And if you've got any questions, find somebody from DPW or, somebody from camp management. They can all explain primarily how things work. And it should run pretty smoothly. I think the system that we've designed is a lot more self-explanatory with less instructions, and I think it's really obvious how it works. So enjoy your showers. We have removable shower heads, so you can shower off parts of your body that you might not have been able to get water to in the past. And if you need to clean up a little bit before you go, yeah, it's the showers. I think if they work well this year, they're definitely an improvement over previous years. So it's going to feel like you've got a little bit more water, but in reality, you're using less water. So enjoy the new showers and have a great time.
The sink? Bob, what about the sink? What's the policy at the sink that we have?
I mean, the sink in the past has been for brushing your teeth and washing your hands, and I think that's pretty much it. We don't want to wash major things. I mean, every couple days, I do tend to wash my dish because my dish needs like one washing every couple days.
No, Bob, stop that.
Okay,
Bob,
no dishwashing.
Please.
You asked,
Bob,
Doug.
No,
you asked me.
We don't do that anymore. We stopped
Bob,
that.
You did ask me.
We're going to talk.
Bob, we don't do that.
We'll talk about dishwashing later.
No dishwashing. Okay.
But
so
we just don't want the sink being left on. Like I've seen people brush their teeth where they leave the water running. You can't do that. Just so you know to keep ourselves as a discount camp, we have to be very sustainable and very L&T anyways. And one of the things is every gallon of water we use costs us $1.50, and every gallon of water we pump out costs us $2. So if everyone's turning something, leaving it on, it just adds up. It just adds up when you have 250 people in a camp using that much water. You have to be monitored. You have to treat it like we're in a desert. So
because we are.
Yeah.
$3.50 a gallon.
We have water for you to drink. Drink as much water as you can. We want you to drink water and stay hydrated. And we bring water for that.
And that's great because there's no gray water, right? Like if it goes into your body, it doesn't go into the evapons. You don't have to pay for it to be pumped out. So it's a lot cheaper. Drinking water is way cheaper than showering with water. And when people are asking, can they not shower? And hallelujah, do not shower. You don't have to shower. No one's making you shower. We can all be dirty together. It's totally fine. No one's going to shame you for being dirty. And it's Burning Man. Everything's so dry.
Yeah, some people.
It's a dry.
We have some people who they won't take showers every day. I mean, a lot of people don't. They'll take it like every other day or every 3 days. We have people that just do it differently. So
yeah,
it's Burning Man.
It's Burning Man. Do a lot, but just.
All right.
Don't get upset.
So let's move on to Colin. Colin, are you available?
Doug, I gotta go, so I don't know what to do.
Oh, Rachel, why don't you talk then right now? Rachel, why don't you go right now then? We'll get to Colin.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Ann. I am your LNT cheerleader. It's a great honor for me to make sure that we leave the desert exactly like we found it. This will be my third.
What does LNT stand for?
Oh, leave no trace. Okay. Leave no trace. Definitely not how we're used to living, because that's just not how we often have people everywhere that kind of clean up after us, and that's what we're used to. But in the desert, we are our own butlers, our own maids, our own servers, our own washer, everything that we do for ourselves to keep camp clean. There's a couple rules that you can, and these are actual rules. I know that we want to keep a lot of Burning Man really flexible and free and creative and fun, but in order to provide that environment and be invited back to the desert by the planet, we have to do our part to not leave any part of us there. So look at it as if we're borrowing this sacred land, and we want to return it as great as possible. So like I said, this is my third year with Reverbia. So welcome to everyone. You're going to have a great time. This is a fantastic camp for your first burn, attentive and welcoming and really cool. So hopefully you'll be Reverbian for life. So I want to say thank you to Doug and Wendy and the leadership team of all the years past for providing that environment that I got to come to just 3 short years ago. The reason I head up LNT is because one of the years that I was there, I stayed later and I watched the amount of just garbage and things that Wendy and Doug and their whole team had to clean up after they had just given 250 people this incredible experience. And it really upset me, to be honest. I was like, this isn't fair. This isn't just or right. And this is not what they signed up for. And the next year I said, can I make it better? Can I help? What can I do to improve and be of service in this area? Doug likes to say that he's never seen anyone so excited about garbage as I am, except maybe we have some Earth Guardians that are joining the team this year too. So I don't know if they're in this chat as new Reverbians, but that'll be really cool. So leave no trace. There's a great article that the org puts out that I highly recommend if you haven't read it. I can put the link in the chat when I'm done talking, or Wendy, if someone can put the link in the chat to the article. Please read it. It'll make your life a lot easier and it'll just make your burn a lot better. Like Wendy talked about, the LNT kind of acknowledgement form that you'll sign when you check into camp. That's something that I implemented because I think it's really important when people have a sense of awareness that it allows you to succeed. I'm a little more aggressive than Doug. I really wanted to attach your fobs to your LNT, but he won't let me, by the way. So I do like to hold people accountable though. So please just don't leave the camp a mess. You know, if you brought something, take it home with you. Oh, good. Someone put the link in there. So a couple things that are really helpful for me. I just want to speak from experience. And the reason I wanted to go before I had to get in the car was this. Let me swap my camera. So one of the things you can do for LNT is really prepare at home. And by preparing at home, I mean this. Did my camera turn around? Nope. Hold on. Do you guys see? Nope. Hold on a second. I don't know why there's a background on my camera. Let me just done. There we go. So if you see, do you see my couch now?
Yes.
Great. So you can see these are all the little fun things that are coming with me to Burning Man, and they all have all these little great packaging items. Well, here's some fun things. Maybe not this weird fire dress. That's what you get from shopping on Temu at 2:00 in the morning. But what you want to do before, I highly do not recommend that. But one of the things that you may want to do is I have been pre-garbaging everything that I'm bringing. So I'm taking things out of the packaging at home. And this is just like a few things that I started unboxing and unpacking. So imagine if I waited till I got to Playa to unpack my things and unpack all the different things I'm bringing. So one of the things I highly recommend is really pay attention to your packing, because the better you pack, the easier LNT becomes. So open your things when you're at your own home. Don't bring extra trash that you don't need. Pack smart with bags and cubbies and things that you want to take out with you. So that's highly recommended. Is one of the things that allowed me to bring a lot less garbage my second year than I did my first year, because my first year I just threw all the stuff in my luggage instead of being like, oh, I could open this and fold it and make better use of space and everything. The other thing someone put in the chat is you do not want to bring sparkles or glitter or kind of peel and stick things. There are some that are super fancy and you put them on with like makeup glue and everything, but it really just turns into moop. So as you're styling yourself out, think about different ways you can adorn yourself, where like I have these glitter bows. They're not real glitter. They're like a sticker glitter, but they look like glitter and they pin on to my dress. So there's a lot of little different ways to accessorize yourself that will not end up being moopy. There's a lot of other stuff. Like, put it this way, if you have things at your home that leave fibers, don't bring it. Like I have an outdoor rug and it's jute, but sometimes the jute gets all yucky and then it leaves moop. So think about anything like carpets or turfs or blankets or those types of things, anything that has the possible to leave fabric or, fringes, Fringes are sometimes the worst. But again, there's a lot of these things in the article on burningman.org. And the other thing that's really important, and this is why camp ended up being kind of a little bit of a mess, is there's a lot of garbage that's created by just being such a big camp. Things that have to be taken off from the kitchen, from the stages, from all the different infrastructure that Reverbia puts together. So as campers, we each take one garbage bag off Playa with us, and then we drop it off along the way. You'll see when you leave Burning Man, there's all sorts of places you can stop to drop off your garbage and all sorts of great things. It's helping the local community. You give them $5 and you drop off your bag. But we as a camp need everybody to take a bag with them. So that's part of your agreement, is that, so like if you're in a camp and it's just you'll swing by at the end, or we may even deliver your bag of garbage to your campsite, depending on how that works out with people's leaving. But whenever you leave, it is really important to go scoop up a bag of garbage, or else you leave it for your campmates to have to schlep out at exit. And it's just not cool. So everybody takes a bag of garbage with them. If you're able to take more, that's amazing. Last year, we had someone who literally filled their entire truck up with all of the cardboard. So that made it really, really easy. Yes, for those of you that are on the burner bus, you actually get a bag from the burner bus. And then if you don't use it, you might get 1 or 2 bags. Leave it with us at camp, because we will also take a load of trash over for our burner bus riders. So yes, if you are on the burner bus, you still can take trash with you, and they're prepared for that, and it's included in your ticket. So they're not going to harass you for bringing garbage. It's part of their bigger picture LNT thing. Compost, we are a compost camp. So you'll notice that when you're done eating with your food, we work with a wipe it off or lick it off kind of method. There is no sink for you to rinse your plates. There's really no garbage in the eating area. It's really for you just to scrape off your extra food, which also goes back to try not to take more food than you think you're going to eat. So you're better off, watching your portions. So at the end, you're not going to the wipe off station and dumping a lot of food in there for compost. Wendy, what's the other thing that we do? We do accept aluminum cans, correct?
So yeah, Reverbia doesn't collect any garbage. You take out your own garbage. And then, as Rachel said, you're also going to take out camp garbage from the kitchen. We collect compost. So anything, not paper towels, not paper, purely just, so if you bought an apple and you eat it, you can give us the core. But and the only other thing we do is we collect aluminum cans, because there is a recycle camp at Burning Man. But also some years we actually take it back, and it's a way to earn money for the camp. So we do collect aluminum cans, which have to be crushed. And there's going to be a spot for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
but Rachel, do you want to go over the waterless washing? Because I can demonstrate while you're doing it.
yes. So as I was just saying, we believe in a wipe it or a lick it type of strategy for your plate. We do not have a wash station or a sink where you will be able to rinse off your dishes. So if you don't already have a nice little set of easy to clean camp stuff, they're everywhere. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them on Amazon, and you'll just want to have a little plate and a little bowl. And then, I have this little spoon fork combo thing. So it's like on one, and you just lick it clean when you're done. But Wendy can show you. So basically we have wipes and a spray bottle of some Dr. Bronner's or some easily friendly thing if your dish gets super dirty. But again, not.
So the first step, is you lick your plate clean. If you have any leftovers on it, you give it to your neighbor. You do not put it in the compost. Never take more than you can eat. And if for some reason you don't like it, which that won't happen because the food's amazing, but if you don't, then just give it. There's always someone who will eat your food, your leftovers. So you come to the kiosk to clean your dish and it's already empty. You might have to scrape a little tiny bit off it. You lick the rest. Then you can spray it with the soapy water or just regular water. It's your choice. Some people don't like the soapy water. We dilute the Dr. Bronner's down, so it's very mild, but you spray your plate like this, and then you get 1 paper towel. This is the paper towel. It's one. You get one. This is very important. We count every square of paper towel we bring to camp, and we times it by the amount of people, and that's how many we bring. So you do not use more than one per meal. And then you wipe your plate. The paper towel is not compostable. I don't think it is this year, right, Rachel?
Depends on which brand we buy. And I was thinking of another way. I found a cardboard wrap, but I wanted to email it to you for us to check to make sure that Compost Camp will accept it.
Okay, but either way, so then you will either put this in the compost or in a separate container that we'll have there. And then your plate is clean. If you want to disinfect it, like if you're like germaphobe or just like you care a lot about things being clean, I don't want to disrespect people who care about germs. You spray it with the special, we have a sanitizer spray. It is food safe, everything, and it's an on contact killer of germs, and you just spray that on your plate at the end. Air dries, you don't do anything else, and that's it. Your plate is sanitized. It's like they use these in restaurants. So
feel free also. Oh, sorry, Wendy.
No, it's called Star Sam if you care. Sorry, go on.
Feel free to also bring your own process. Like if you're coming in an RV or something and you have the room, throw a bottle of whatever you like and bring your own wipes for your plates and glasses. If you're in a tent and obviously don't have a lot of stuff to schlep, then don't worry, we've got you covered. But ideally, you can bring your own little small spray bottle of something and just wipe your plate off at your tent as well. But like I said, any way that we can be easy on the infrastructure is just great. Easy on the playa, easy on the infrastructure, happy with each other. Also, we have a MOOP squad, which is really, really nice because that helps keep the camp clean throughout the entire burn. So we will all be doing shifts of going around the camp into different quadrants in the morning and cleaning up from the night before. So it's like a whole camp-wide type of thing that we do every day, which really makes LNT super fun. Like I said, at the end, you'll take garbage with you that you'll know exactly where to come pick it up, or we'll deliver it to your tent. And one of the other things that's also amazing, I was going to get to that next, is that you could always carry a MOOP bag with you and all of your things when you go out and about, because there's always little things that you'll notice. So if you have a really cool bike and you don't already have like a milk crate on the back of your bike, you can put something there. They have all these great little cute MOOP bags. You can actually go to one of the Earth Guardian camps and they will give you these awesome little MOOP bags that people volunteered and made out of like jeans, and that they're really cute and stuff. So you definitely have the opportunity to MOOP all the time. MOOP stands for matter out of place. So ultimately we're MOOP, but we can, mitigate the MOOP that we leave and be really as MOOP free as possible. Okay. Is there anything else?
I just want to say one thing about the washing. So that's how I would demonstrate how we wash our personal dishes, which by the way, everyone has to bring their own personal dishes if that wasn't underlined. But just for those of you that are worried, the kitchen, their pots and pans and everything like that is washed in a very sanitary, like four sink basin system, and that's washed with water and soap and everything. So those are all kept very, very clean. We have health inspectors come and they always get gold stars. So don't worry about that. But your personal plate, just,
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Rachel and thank you, Wendy. I just wanted to add one thing that I didn't know if I heard it or not, and emphasize it, that you pack in and pack out your own trash. We don't have a trash receptacle where you put your trash. It goes in your own trash bag and you keep it in your own tent, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, so
the trash bag that we give is outside of your trash. This is the collective community trash bag that you get, not your own personal trash bag that I took out.
Can of tuna and expect to like hide it somewhere in a garbage bag.
Okay.
In the communal area.
I do want to just ask that also as well, because when you guys use the kitchen trash and put stuff in there that you shouldn't, then there's someone like me or a member of my team that's actually having to sort through that. And I'm sure all of you could imagine that job is not fun or pretty. So before you do something like that, just think of the person that's going to have to come after you and touch it and sort it. And it's just gross. So please, I'd love to beg of you to really pay attention to trash management. It's really, really important, not just for your own personal burn, but for the health of the camp as well.
Yes, and one more point.
I will find you and I will put it in your bed. So if I find trash where it doesn't belong, we will make sure it's delivered properly
We'll
back to
find
your
you. But the worst move on playa and at camp, besides wood chips, is unfinished cans of beer or bottles, unfinished drinks. So liquid that is not water, that is left in a drink can or drink receptacle and lying around camp, because now it's 2 days old and it's warm beer and no one's going to drink that. How do you get rid of this? It does not go in our vat ponds because it's not water and it'll pollute the vat pond and gum up all our systems. So now we have to deal with this.
You can't pour it on playa.
You can't pour it on playa. Nothing touches playa except for pure water. Nothing. You can't pour beer out. You can't. So every time you open one of your beverages to drink, you are committing to drinking the entire thing. Think very carefully every time you open your beer can or whatever you're drinking, your iced tea, whatever. It's so frustrating to find half-drunk bottles of stuff around camp. It's the worst. And it's very expensive to get rid of.
Okay, we're going to move on from L&T. I'm going to coin the last thing is that we.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. We have an exit team on Sunday. We have an all tear down Sunday. We want everyone to be a part of that. Like sometimes people leave early. We like you to stay. The temple burns Sunday night, which is amazing. If you've never seen the temple burn, it's absolutely wonderful. And so for us, we have an all camp tear day that starts at like around 11. We start at 10 or 11 in the morning. And when we have 300 people or 200 people, however many people are left, the camp gets torn down in like just a few hours. It's unbelievable how quickly it goes down. So after that's happened, we have a group that stays on the exit team, and some people can stay. You can stay on Monday if you want, but you need to be helpful if you stay around. It's not a time to just go wander around the whole burn.
Get in our way while we're
we on Monday we still keep the process of packing. We're packing up our containers, putting everything in the containers, and you can stay Monday because traffic on Monday is horrendous. If you've never been to the burn, it can be bad. It can be a 10-hour, 12-hour wait sometimes to get out. We find that if you're there till Monday night, the wait goes way down. So if you want to stay a little later on Monday and help out, you can, and we appreciate that. That's your own service, and we always have people who do. When you leave and you have to leave your site totally L&T'd, don't take your tent and shake your tent out, everything, because all that stuff that comes out, pine needles, anything that's left, grass. We as the exit team, we have to moop all that. When everyone's gone, we have to do a triple moop on what you just, hopefully you've left nothing, and then we have to find what got escaped from you. So we have to do that. So it's always be conscious about that. All right, so it's going to move on. Colin's here. Colin's going to talk about power because we offer power, and here he is. Colin?
give him time.
All right, hey everyone. Yeah, so
Colin's our master distro.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
So we've got lots of power in the camp. We run 2 big diesel generators, which of course power our stage and kitchen, and as well we sell power. And the main reason we do that is so that people don't run their own generators in the camp. So that's pretty much basically not allowed, right? So if you want power, you have to hook up to our grid, and it's simply just for noise and pollution, because the like the small generators and the RV generators are pretty nasty. So we don't let those run in the camp. But the alternative is, of course, we provide power. So we've got that, and there's I guess a number of things. So first of all, if you're tenting, or if you just want to like charge a phone or something, we have community power stations kind of throughout the camp where you can like plug in a phone or charge batteries or little things like that. And so that's available. And then if you want more power, you know, either for an air conditioner or a fridge or a fan or something, those of you who purchase power will show you basically where you plug in your extension cord. So one thing is don't go plugging in to the grid unless you've been assigned a outlet, because it's capacity planning and load balancing and a bunch of stuff. So we will yank out cords that aren't supposed to be where they are. So please just I guess when you're placed, or I'll personally show you where to plug in your extension cord to power your either tent or RV. And then with that said,
Oh yeah,
extension
sorry.
cord.
One thing about that, sorry, Colin, one thing
Yeah.
about that is in your package placement, you will have a tag. Randy makes everyone tags who are getting power, and it will have your name on it, and you will put that tag on your extension cord. So everything that's plugged into the power sockets will be labeled, we'll know that you're legitimate or not. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with extension cords, we kind of recommend everybody bring 100 feet. And if you're running an air conditioner or some kind of heavier load, it should be a fairly heavy gauge cord. So 12 gauge or 10 gauge, 16 or 18 gauge cords won't work for those kind of loads. So definitely bring like a heavier cord. 100 feet if you can, 50 minimum. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to reach where you need to plug in. And that goes for tents or RVs. And of course, if you're plugging in an RV, you're probably going to have a 30 amp RV cord. And again,
can you explain what that is to people?
Well, anyone that has an RV knows what it is. It's like your standard RV
But a lot of people
plug.
rent.
Right.
Okay, because I've had 2 people ask me, like, what does that mean? Because they're renting
Well,
RVs
it's an
and they don't
RV.
understand.
It's specifically an extension cord for RVs. It's a special plug. It's super standard.
They don't
like
come
if you
with
go to-
their rental, right?
Well, don't count on it. I mean, check. So the rental will probably have one cord, but it might only be a 25 foot. Because quite often, like if you're in a campground, the plug-in is like right beside the RV. So rentals probably will not have a long enough cord. Unfortunately, so you're gonna have to check that and then either get the rental company to give you another one, or you're gonna have to buy one. But it's essential that you have at least a 50 foot, if not 100 foot extension cord, because we just don't, well, we don't provide them, right? So the power drop, they're kind of put throughout the camp. You have to be able to get to it. And if your cord doesn't reach, we don't have cords to give out, especially for the RVs, because they're obviously like very expensive, and we just can't stock them and provide them to everybody. Yeah, so that's the main thing on extension cords. If that wasn't clear, or like feel free to email Wendy, and she can forward the email on to me to answer any specific questions.
Reverbia live music camp at gmail.com.
Thanks, Colin.
Put that in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Colin does a great job. There's only a few master distros at Burning Man, and Colin is one of them, and he's become an asset to our camp year after year. He and another gentleman that we have coming at Adam Astral, we are in good hands.
It is astounding how reliant we are on electricity in our lives.
We power our neighbors as well. So it's very important that we have a power grid that works and that people know how to do it. And that's why we got Colin and Adam, and Bob is also really good at power. All right. Thank you, Colin. All right. Is Annie?
Oh, real quick, Colin, there's a question in chat that says 10 campers not purchasing extra power also need 100-foot cords, ?
No. It's just if you purchase power and you're trying to run it to your tent or shift pod or RV or whatever. No, if you didn't purchase power, all of the tenting areas have community power drops where you can plug in like small stuff, like charge a phone, charge some batteries. You're not allowed to run a cord from there to your own tent, right? They're community power drops. So it's like you charge up whatever you're doing at that little drop. And those are available everywhere and free. Yeah. And you don't need an extension.
If you want a designated, if you want a designated line to your tent 24/7, then you pay $100. And you tell us in advance and pay for it, and we'll place you accordingly.
All right. Thank you, Colin. Hey, so is Annie with the kitchen here still? Is Annie with the kitchen here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm frosting the cake. I'm here.
Annie, do you want to say hello?
You should introduce
Annie is Annie. We had our chef for almost 12 years, 13 years. Chef Eric retired last year, so we needed to have somebody new to come and to take on that helm. And we were very, very fortunate. I was very fortunate to meet Annie. And Annie and Russell are going to be our kitchen leads this year. So here's
Russell.
Annie.
I'm here too.
And Russell's here.
All right.
Yay.
Where are they on here?
Do you want to say anything to the newbies that are coming in? And
Well,
new
you know,
Reverbians like you? You're a new
I was
Reverbian.
saying we're newbies as well. So we've been doing lots of reading and preparation. And we are going to be cooking food for you. And we've got a great menu planned. It's very diverse. So we're trying to keep in mind of all diets. So if you do have dietary requests and you haven't made them known, please make sure you do that ahead of time, because we cannot run to the store and go get something. So our numbers will be real tight on super special diets. There'll always be a vegetarian and or vegan option. Or I guess I should say there's always a vegan option, sometimes vegetarian options as well, plus items with meat. We'll be doing breakfast that will morph into brunch. So breakfast starts at 8 with some cold items, 9 for our hot cooked foods. It'll morph into brunch. We'll be done with that by 2. And then we start up again with dinner at 7. There will be snacks throughout the day, and we're doing kind of a trail mix bar. So you can go through the area and pick your goodies and take them with you. So make sure you get a little bag. Those little organza bags are perfect for something like this. We're not putting in chocolate, so don't worry, it won't get all melty. And then there'll be juices and iced tea and coffee and so on throughout the day as well, outside of mealtime. And we promise that unless there's some catastrophe, all meals will be on time this year. Hot food hot, meals on time. And we will be serving until 11 p.m. So kind of our rule is if there's somebody in the kitchen and you're hungry, you might not get the meal of the day, but we'll make sure you get fed. So be sure and communicate with us if you see us in there and we're still cleaning or something. We'll do our best to feed you. We're not going to leave you hanging.
Thank you. We're really it's been great having Annie on board with Russell. They have their own boutique and cafe in Veneta, Oregon called the Emporium. And they also do a lot of camps. They do a lot of retreats. They cater to a lot of weddings, and they're busy all year long. We're always, yeah, this is going to be a new challenge for them, which is going to be awesome.
Been training their whole lives.
So they're new to burn, just like many of you. They're virgins, but they're prepping themselves very well. They have a lot of friends who go to the burn, and we're looking forward to our meal service this year. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we've built an amazing team, and some of you on this call might even be some of our volunteers in the kitchen, and we're excited to help you grow in your skills and help us create some beautiful food. You can have the worst experience in the world, but if the food's bad, then the whole thing is bad. And so we kind of think the food is the heart and soul of a lot of events. It has to be on point.
And that, Doug wanted us to have a communal kitchen just for the bonding way that it brings everyone together. If we're all cooking our own meals, we never have a time when we all come together. And it's a really beautiful, ritualistic thing to break bread together. So we have a huge lounge area. It's just really nice. Even though our meal times do spread out long, it's just nice to have something that brings us all together at least twice a day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Annie and Russell. We're glad to have you on board. Thank you. All right. So I'm just going to briefly, Claire's not here. Claire's in England and she's long distance. So I'm going to just briefly talk about programming. Claire's our production manager lead. And I don't know that anyone in here is a production manager. If you are, you'll be emailed, etc.
You've already been emailed.
You've already been emailed. So our programming at Reverbia is awesome.
It's amazing.
We start with Common Side in the morning. That's like a meditation, stretching, breathing. We have just one solo artist playing an instrument that's just chill, like completely chill. So every morning you can have that where you can just go and recapture yourself from the day before. Then we have live music yoga in the morning, which is packed. We usually have 150 people, 160 people doing yoga with a live band. And our bands are improv bands. They often just create with the instructor. They make up the music as they go.
It's great.
Then we have dancing before noon, which is we do dance workshops with live bands. So every day we have a different type. I think this year we have like Scottish We have someone doing Scottish dance, some kind of a Scottish dance.
Scottish Highland dancing.
Scottish Highland dancing. We've got Latin dancing, Afro-Brazilian. We've got couples blues dancing. We've got Kazumba. We've got a lot of different styles. Every day is a different dance class with a live band. And then we do our open mic. Every day we have an open mic that goes 2.5 hours. It's our interactive kind of, we invite people from across the playa to come and play. People ride up on their bikes with their guitars. It's pretty awesome. And then we have our concerts in the shade, which we'll do a couple acoustic acts and a band, sometimes a couple bands. And then we do our Reverbia Live Nights, is where we have our big main stage. We have a large main stage. And we have sometimes our shows in the past have drawn, last year we had a show that drew almost 7,500 people. We get big crowds sometimes, depending on who we have. It's all based on who's playing. I don't know that we have any major headliners yet this year, but we're going to have great shows that will always draw crowds, and it'll be a wonderful time to come to our camp and dance and be a part of our scene. And then at night, we have our tea house every night. You come back, you can wind down in our tea house.
But you know from your placement, it's on 8th Street.
Yeah, 8th Street, the tea house at night. It starts about 11:30 and it goes till 3 in the morning. You can come and it's acoustic music all night long with us serving 2 big pots of tea. Reverbia makes 2 interesting, like a decaf and a calf. You come in and you chill out. Many people love that tea house. There'll be regulars every night.
Also, it's extra special this year because, you know, Curiouser and Curiouser, Mad Hatter Tea Party, that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a theme.
So then we have we're going to have a new art installation. We've generally had the Radiance Dome. If you're a burner that's returning, you probably, and never camped with us, you've probably seen the Radiance Dome. It was like kind of one of our iconic trademarks. That artist took this year off. So now we have another artist I'm calling it the Cosmic Portal. I don't know what we're going to name it, but it's an art installation that was on the playa before, a segment of it. And we're going to turn that into a venue at night where we just do cosmic journeys. We have like artists who will do like a looping and try to take you on an adventure ride, winding your way down from the night. So that's our programming this year. Our special programming, we have every Friday, or on the Friday of the burn, we're going to do the tribute to lost musicians. That's where we honor musicians who passed from the last year to this year, or from burn to burn. And that's very special programming for us. We have 16 songs of different artists performing each song, and it can be quite special. All right, that's kind of our programming scene.
We have a dance show.
Oh yeah, and we have a dance show, Curiouser and Curiouser. If you're a dancer, please contact us, because email to us, because Jess is putting together a dance troupe. They're going to perform on the main stage on Friday night.
To live music?
To live music. I can't go over the roster of bands. That's the Burning Man policy.
We're not allowed to.
We have a lot of bands that are coming this year. We'll have over 130 hours of live music programming. If you put that and scale that in your head, that's a lot of music programming.
And you should say that like you don't accept like podunk garage bands.
No. All of our acts that are performing on our stages are festival level. They have to be performing at festivals just because it helps us with line checks and etc. So they're good bands. They're bands that are current or bands that are performing out right now. All right. Our volunteering, we're going to get down to the last bit here, is we're going to talk to Jason about the volunteer sheets right after this meeting. Jason's going to release the volunteer sign-up sheets. And so here's our volunteer coordinator. He was a first timer last year. Now he's on leadership.
Yay!
And
Jason!
welcome Jason, who's been like one of the most fantastic leads we've had. He is an asset extraordinary.
You guys, you don't know what this entails, what has gone into this. Just carry on, Jason.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And hi, everybody. Can't wait to see everybody this year. As Doug kind of said, my role is volunteer coordinator. I'm responsible for basically making sure we got enough people to run our kitchen, run our stage, L&T, et cetera, et cetera. So in the questionnaire, you were asked for your top 3 choices. I tried very hard to give everyone their first choice, but sometimes I had to make a decision. I'm sure you can all understand. What you're getting is an email coming out from the system here in about 45 minutes. Attached will be a number of different spreadsheets to it. It's all explained. based upon what group or / team you're going to be in. They all kind of look the same, but I'll quickly run through them here. Let's see here. First one, they all have an instructions tab. They all have, this happens to be staged, they all have job descriptions. And then the third tab will have the schedule and all of the different slots for shifts. We do everything based on a point system, which is normally by amount of hours, but depending on when, where, what, etc., some of them do get a little extra weight to them. Stage, anything that's reserved, like Doug and Wendy alluded to, are for production managers and sound engineers. And if you're having this call, you should have already been informed. So anything marked reserved in the silence, please don't write over to that one. Let's see here. Let's go to, this is kitchen. Again, same thing, instructions, job descriptions. Kitchen looks a little bit different, the way it's laid out. Then you put your name in. Here's the points. We do have a couple of reserved spots that may open up here in a couple days, but don't count on them. The other one you're going to receive is going to be shift hunters. This is sort of a special little job, as it were, within the camp. There's only a couple slots for these open, so you can either sign up for stage as part of some of your shifts, or if you want, you can also sign up for a shift hunter position. You can always email me offline if you have questions regarding that. One thing that's new this year, I'm sorry, last part, which Rachel talked about, is the move shift. New for this year, we've broken up to an AM and PM. So again, you just have to sign up for one. This is in addition to your 14 points. So just plug your name in, and then we go. One thing that's new for this year, based on all the feedback, was there's a lot of feedback saying we want to do kind of a group gathering type of thing. And so we reached out to the lamplighters. And if you don't know the lamplighters, those are the people that every night light the city. We've been able to secure a slot on Wednesday night for Reverbians to light the city. We only have 17 slots. It's first come, first serve. We're going to be lighting the left esplanade. So from here all the way around. And Reverbia is right about here. If this gets more people signed up for it, I've got us locked in for this yellow, which is Main to 9. And if we get more people, I might be able to get some more. So something new we're trying this year. See how it goes. Anybody got any questions?
Can I sign up for more than 14 points?
Yes, you can.
14.
Minimum 14.
We encourage you to.
You can always sign up for more. It's very helpful when people do that.
And I also want to say, okay, Doug wants to say something.
Yes.
Wait.
Just so you're aware, we ask our campers to do 14 to 16 hours of service, and that doesn't include the MOOC squad. MOOC squad is a mandatory, everyone does it. That's not included in that. But we ask you to do 14 to 16 hours of service. Our build team is going to come, well, first of all, our leadership started their volunteer service, many of us in January, February, March. So we've been ongoing ever since that time. And then our build team will come in, and they will spend they work every day for 8 hours to 9 hours, 10 hours a day from Monday till Sunday. So they're putting in quite a few hours, and they choose to. There's some they don't have to work during the burn. They volunteer during the build. That's part of the thing they like to do, and they like the smaller community. That's why they like doing the build.
The kitchen people are working.
Kitchen started already. They've already worked. They're operating. So there's a lot of people who put many hours, and bands and artists that are coming. They're already rehearsing and working on their art and getting it ready. So there's a lot of hours that are being put in before. So 14 to 16 hours, we kind of set that as a standard because we want you to at least do that so we can go do our algorithm and make sure everything's covered. But if you can do more and you feel like that's something that you're capable of and you like putting energy into stuff and participating more, please feel free to do that.
And I will say this to any virgins, like who are new to Burning Man, the biggest regret that first-time burners have, and why most people come back another year is because they didn't feel like they participated enough. They felt like they were spectating and not being involved in the community. And it's such a beautiful bonding and enriching experience for your burn to take ownership of the camp and feel like you're one of the reasons why it's working. And that's what we really want to encourage everyone. This is not like our camp and you're coming and helping out with all of our camp. We're all contributing. We recognize that not everyone can put in 50 hours a week because people have.
Yeah, people can't make the build team.
Yeah, we all recognize that. But really, really think about how enriching your burn will be because you have, put so much into the camp that you belong to. And honestly, you can go out on that playa, but like, we're the best camp. Like, it's so much more fun.
And one thing that one of our, probably the biggest taboo, the one thing that probably irritates, if there's an irritation, it could be either LNT related or it's missing a shift. And the thing is it's one of the most difficult things when someone misses a shift. This is your commitment. Whatever you're signing up for on the sheet, you're committing to. If you can't make your shift for some unknown reason, you have to find someone personally that will take your place or swap with you. Because what happens is if you miss the shift, that means we have to find somebody to take your shift. So you're putting someone else in a position that was going to go out on their bicycle. They're going to go meet somebody, and now they're like, oh gosh, all right, I'll do it.
Now they're guilt
tripping. They're now doing that.
Yeah.
So missing a shift is huge. And at the burn, for you that are virgins, and all of you who've been there before know this, your time is really, it's hard to gauge it sometimes because once you go out, I'm just going to go run down there real quick. I'm on in 30 minutes. I'm just going to run over there and go to this camp real quick and come right back. That doesn't happen at Burning Man.
No.
You have to be ready for your shift. Like, you have to be there like an hour before your shift starts, because if you're trying to juggle things out there, there's a good chance you're not going to make it back in time.
Just be responsible with your timing. That's all. And recognize that things take longer at Burning Man.
It takes a lot longer to get from point A to point B to point C.
Yeah. Like, I'm just going to go get ice and come back. That might be a 2-hour journey because the lineup for the ice camp is like 2 hours long or something. So yeah, just manage your time well. Jason, I don't know if you mentioned this about if someone wants to trade, it's up to them to like find someone to trade with, right? Like, they don't come to you.
Yes, by all means, if you need to switch shifts around, it's up to you to find somebody to switch with.
Great. Yeah.
And then also,
there'll be a board with everyone.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, we'll have a board it's called the Bat Wing, which is right across from where kitchen is. That'll have all of the shifts and everyone signed up listed there. So, but also very important, anybody signing up for Monday shifts, make sure you know your shift times before you arrive, because I probably won't have the board set up by then. But I'll have the book around with me. So that's all.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for all your work, Jason.
Okay, we're going to have a quick question and answer. If you want to, we'll field a few questions. Next week, we're going to have a total question and answer Zoom meeting with anything you think of between now and then.
So how do we do the Q&A? Do people
talk a little?
Yeah, if you want to ask a question, ask it on the ask it as a question. We'll try to answer it. We'll give like that as a thought. We'll spend like 2 minutes or 3 minutes on this, and then we're going to close the meeting.
Talk a little bit about if you're in camp. If you're in camp, support the artist.
Randy.
Oh, sorry,
Randy.
Yes,
everybody, this is Randy.
Randy
Hi.
is our final. He's our admin. Randy does a lot of our spreadsheets.
The only reason
Anytime we need something that's done on the in any kind of collating way, we go to Randy, and Randy does it. He's been doing this for 3 years. He's our admin lead.
The only thing anything works is because of Randy.
Hey, Randy, what did you want to say?
What I wanted to talk about is if you're in camp, support the artist. We've got music going on almost 24 hours a day. So if you're in camp, just kind of hang out around where the music's playing. We've got the shade structures during the day, and then at night, if you're in camp, come out to the main stage, hang out, and listen to the music. Support the music. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, big point. And also, Annie wanted to say one more thing. She just put on the chat. Is Annie out
I'm
there
here.
somewhere? Kitchen Annie?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I just remember
Mhm.
one of my first conversations with Wendy before I knew Wendy is Wendy was nobody brings soup bowls. So if anybody is planning on having soup, which we'll have nightly, it'll be all of our soups will be vegan options nightly. You need to bring a soup or excuse me, bring a bowl or prepare to put it in your coffee mug or something. Because again, just to stress, we will not be bringing any durables whatsoever. If you don't have a proper vessel, we can't serve it to you. So sorry, borrow one from somebody. So that's all I just wanted to say is make sure you have all the appropriate vessels for the food because you don't want to miss out on stuff, especially the Thai curry
Yes.
vegetable soup with coconut milk. You want to bathe in it. It's so good.
Doug,
You don't need
that's
just
Doug's
3
favorite.
people to bathe in it. So just bring that bowl, bring that spoon, bring whatever you think you're going to need. That's it.
Yes, no
Okay.
disposables at Reverbia. And don't show up to the lunch line and be like, oh, I forgot my plate. Can I just, do you have a paper plate? No, we don't have paper plates, nothing.
And we're
We
not
don't do
even
that.
bringing them. We
Okay.
will not bring them. So
Yeah.
you're out of luck. And we're really pretty
Okay.
nice. You know, we just won't have them to share with you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Annie.
you're welcome.
All right, is there any other?
Okay, I have some, I'm gonna read out a question.
Okay, here's a question.
I'm gonna read out questions and then, okay, for folks who were emailed about being sound engineers, can we split our volunteer hours between sound engineer and stage crew, or another team? I'm
Right.
fairly beginner and thus would have a hard time doing all my hours as a sound engineer.
Yeah, we could.
Yes, you can. You can do like an easy sound shift and then do another shift
Yep,
as
we
a,
could do that.
yes, that's, yes.
Is there any more questions?
Okay, here, a few more questions. Here we go. Bike storage. Can we store bikes at our tents? We have bike racks around camp. So you can't bring your bike into the camping area because there's no room.
Not in the Quonset.
Not in the
In any of our shade tents, you
Or in
can't
the-
park a bike there.
Or in the Reverbia Minions either.
No, none of our shade structures that you're camping underneath can you put your bike next.
So the bikes will all be in this little blocks of places around camp. We've never had a bike stolen in camp, but I always recommend locking up your bike because people might be on some kind of substance and grab the wrong
Outside of
bike.
our camp.
And so, yeah, always lock your bike up when you're out and about at Burning Man. Bikes get stolen all the time, unfortunately. It's just like the worst. But in the camp, you can still lock your bike up in camp, but it's not super necessary. Like I've never. And
I've never locked mine up.
Yeah. But there are bike racks for that. And then the next one was, is early departure allowed? Can we bring our cars into, that's a very important point. Is earlier departure allowed and can we bring our cars in to pack up? I forgot to say on placement, placement will tell you where to park your car. A lot of cars will be parked on our property.
No, not a lot.
But most will be parked in our auxiliary parking lot, which we will have a couple blocks away. So you will probably park your car there for the duration of the burn. It's usually not too far, but not that many people will be able to park their car on our property. But there are some spots, so you might luck out if you're coming early. So when you leave, yes, you can bring your car back to the camp to pack up. But if you're leaving early, like Saturday, I mean, you physically won't be able to drive into. You can park on the outskirts, and you can get as close as you can, but it won't be that close if you're in a Quonset. It could be, depends. And then the other thing, and you're going to be given a tag for your car to put on the dash of your car, so that if you. And we always encourage people to leave their cars.
When you first come to the burn, the
tag will say Reverbia on it, and we'll have your name, so we'll know whose car belongs to who. If there's something when we have to move a car because it's in the way, at least we'll know who it is and where to find you because we will have you recorded on our placement map as well. Okay, go on.
Yeah, when you first come too, that's another thing that we should have said in the arrival. When you come and you park, we ask you not to just go and walk off to the playa because we need you to get checked in, all taken care of with your car with a parking pass on it. Because if your car is left in a spot, we've had people who leave and don't come back for like 2 days. And that's that's hard because now it's in the way.
Yeah.
And we can't move it. And we try to find this person, and you never know once a person goes out to playa whether they're going to come back or not.
Yeah.
Especially when they're new. That's why they call them sparkle ponies.
Okay, and then I want to go through this fast because of people's time, you know, it's 1:30. Are there ice runs? Are there camp ice runs or just individual? There's just individual. We don't do ice runs collective. And you guys can organize that yourselves if you want, but you're not allowed to drive at Burning Man. So if anyone has their own little cart and they're like, hey, I'm going to an ice run, people usually just organize it themselves. Where are the closest toilets? They're usually on
a block away.
Like on B Street or B or C, and we're on A. So I mean, it's like a 5-minute walk or a 1-minute bike ride.
Yes. Behind us, 2
yeah,
blocks.
We do not have. Yes, and we do not have toilets in it. We don't do our own toilets at camp. We don't do that. It's the Burning Man toilet. What is the safety practices, like locking tents? I don't know anyone who's ever locked their tent. And the only time we've had things disappear from people's tents is on exit. So after Monday afternoon, there can be some shady people at Burning Man, like weirdos who are like looking to ground scores. But that's not from our camp. That's just people at Burning Man who somehow got in and are jerks. But we've never had.
Most Burning Man people are amazing people.
Yeah.
There has been an element that there still is an element out there that is ground scoring, and
there is theft at Burning Man.
It's very rare, but it exists.
Yes.
So it's your responsibility for your thing.
And it's usually a bike. But no one's ever come into our camp and taken something except for on that Monday of exit.
Yeah, and a lot of times when bikes are taken, sometimes actually they're taken by someone who's just stoned and they think it's their bike and it's not their bike.
There are people who just take a bike.
I think, yeah.
And then what is the most commonly missed shift time? Oh, yeah. There isn't one. It's usually a kitchen shift. And it's usually a block of friends who don't show up, and that's always the worst. It's like 4 people sign up for a kitchen shift, and they're all. That's usually that can be any time. There's no certain time for when there's the worst. I mean, it's just there's flaky people all over the time.
We wait on. If you'll see on the volunteer shift, we have some that are of 1 point generally equals 1 hour. But what we did, we used to go by hours. Now we do points because we have weighted. WEIGHTED. We have weighted some of our shifts because they're more difficult. There's a difficulty or it's just more of a hassle. It's more of a hassle to do it maybe to some people. So like if it's closer to the Burning Man, like maybe right around that time, you might be able to get like major points just by taking a certain shift. Dishwashing at midnight, you probably will get more points for doing that. So if you don't mind doing that, you're like, oh, let's do this and pick up some more points. We weight some of our programs based upon that. So you can get more points on certain shifts than you can on others.
We should talk about, because every year we get this question, if I take a shift on Saturday night during the burn, how does that work? And in the past, everyone
still goes to the burn. So anyone in the kitchen who wants to leave for the burn is allowed to go for the burn, but I don't know how that works. They just have to stay later after. That's what we've done in the past. Annie, you might want to do something different. I don't know, but that's what I've always told people, and that's what Eric's always done. Dinner on burn night is kind of like, sometimes it's earlier so that everyone can be finished before and then go to burn. We'll have this year with the dinner on burn night.
Well, they're not all going to be finished cleaning and stuff. Okay, so hopefully
they'll take a break. We'll talk about it. They'll take a break. And
here's a pro tip. Honestly, the best kitchen shift to get is the last Sunday during camp teardown, because then you don't have to do camp teardown. You're working in the kitchen.
Well, no, you should want to do camp teardown. Why do you make it sound like it's...
Well, because no one ever signs up for that.
Camp teardown.
It's hard to get people to sign up for Sunday because they think they're going to be tired and exhausted from the week and they don't want to do their shift. But actually, you have to work anyway at camp that day anyway. We're all in camp working that day.
Yeah, that's true.
So you might as well use your
and get your points out of the way on Sunday while everyone's working around you tearing down the camp.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Tool your tear down day into points. All right.
Okay, anything? I'm just reading in the chat. So is there anyone else? I don't know, do people raise hands? What do we do here?
Anybody else typing in a question? This is your time to do it. And otherwise, we're going to conclude. All right. Is that it? All right. We'll have another question and answer next week.
I'm sorry, this was so
if you think of something later. And then also you'll probably get an email maybe from your team that you're on, your prospective team. Like if you're on program, I don't know if they will, but kitchen will, L&T will definitely get a hold of you. Placement will get a hold of you. And you'll have your own meetings within this. Our main goal from this meeting is just to educate as many people as we can coming into our camp. You're going to probably get hit again. We have an all camp meeting on Monday that's mandatory at 6. Some of these things will be referred to on Playa in our shade structure. We'll have an all camp meet and greet, get to see who's there, and then we're going to have a long meeting then. And that meeting is going to be important because we'll have other elements we haven't brought up, and you'll also see the faces of all of our leads, our build team. You'll see a lot of people and meet and greet.
And we're gonna, yeah, it's great.
So, but right now this is a catch for us. We're trying to catch as many people, get you as inspired, and give you the knowledge that it takes to come and be a part of the burn, be a participant, and be a part of Reverbia. And all of you were vetted. That's the thing. The great thing about it was we vetted every one of you. Maybe it seemed like an easy vetting, but every email we look at, every application, not everybody got accepted to our camp. We look and we go through and we look for certain things. We might have returned an email to you to ask you some questions because we just want to make sure that you're a good fit and we're a good fit for you. So we believe right now that everyone here was a good fit for Reverbia. We think that you're going to be a good Reverbian. We're expecting just wonderful connection with you. We have, again, we're going to, I love our community. That's why I've done this for this many years, because our community has been a special community, I think, at Burning Man. And because we're so large, everybody can't return to the burn every year. And we're a large camp. That's why we take on a lot of new people, because we have a lot of things that we have to do. Some camps just keep it at 100 people. They're the same people that come back every year. We push our numbers up a little bit to get new people to come to our camp because we like that new energy. That's how we found Jason last year. You know, if we were a tight closed camp, we would not have Jason or Rachel Ann or Randy. We all of our leads that have now become that way. Most of us have been found because they came and loved our camp and they stayed with our camp and then they wanted to be on leadership. Maybe you'll be a future lead at our camp. I don't know. Maybe you will.
We're always looking.
So anyways, thank you for coming to the meeting today. Stay tuned with your emails. We'll be pushing some more things on the emails. Check in with the Facebook group page if you're not on it.
Okay, one more thing. Sorry.
Wait, let me finish this.
Okay.
If you're on the, if you want to connect with people and communicate with other campers, if you have want to be a ride share, you want to ask about somebody that has maybe an extra tent, that's all on the Facebook page, the 2024 Reverbia Group Facebook page. That's where people are communicating right now. If you don't like Facebook or don't have it, well, that's just what we're using, the medium we're using right now.
We are not full. We are close to full, but we are not full.
We're very close.
So if you have friends who want to come, it's really easy to get tickets right now. So if you have friends who want to come and you know that they'd be a good fit, they're totally welcome. You just have to apply first. Register at reverbia.org, a new applicant. We do not have any more RV spaces left, so they can't come in an RV, but we have tent spaces and shift pod spaces. And
check in with reverbia.org. Randy has done a lot of work on reverbia.org. There's a lot of information. It's a great website. You can scroll through it, see some of the history. There's videos of some of the bands that played. We had Alan Parsons play at our camp in 2018. We had Sophie Tucker play our camp in 2018. Sometimes we have the California Honey Drops come every other year. We have some really great acts that show up. This year, we still were waiting to see.
There's one person that's coming that I'm so excited about.
Yeah, there's some good. We have an act that might show up this year that will be pretty impressive if they come. We're very close to having this person come. So if they come, it'll be very, very special. We usually have a very interesting person that shows up. So. But we can't talk about it.
I don't even know.
The week before. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you, leadership, for the leads that came, and thank you for choosing Reverbia
Randy,
as your
stay on
camp.
the line. Randy, and then any other leads stay on the line if they want, so we can just debrief.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll talk to you soon. Soon.
We're gonna rebroadcast this recording.
Yeah, this is recorded.
Okay.